Welcome back to the Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for creatives. It is I, the mayor, Flobo Boys, in the mayor's office, hanging out with people who are doing the dang thing with my guest. I mean, this guy, I've seen him in 3 different dimensions, whether it's wrestling, whether it's producing, whether it's music, and I'm just scratching the surface of what this man does. He says, I do a lot. This guy does a lot. Please welcome Neesin to the show. How's it going, sir?
Hey, first of all, thank you for having me on this glorious platform in the mayor's office, virtually, if you will. I appreciate it. I feel honored. Do I have to do like a type of like pledge? Do I have to put my hand on a Bible or something? Or
you're fine, man. There's no elections. I get it every single year. It's all
okay, great. Okay, great. Just want to make sure. Hey, vote or die. Vote or die, guys.
Vote or die,
I'm not saying that because association, but vote or die.
Vote or die. Respect, man. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate the show. I know that you do a lot. So the question I have for you is that when you're at a party and someone goes, "Hey, bro, what do you do?" How do you answer that question?
I laugh just like this.
Fair enough.
What don't I do is usually the question. That's always a tough question. No matter, even if I felt like I was a barista at Starbucks, it would be a tough question because, like, what do you mean? What do I do? Like I barista at Starbucks, I still go home and I play WWE 2K22. I will go skateboarding. Yep. Hey, shout out. I will go play basketball. Like I do a lot, I think so. I turned that question and I had to start working that. I ask people, I say, what are you passionate about? Mm-hmm. And when you say that, that's a different, like you see the fire that people get under, like, oh, like, man, I'm passionate about fabricating eggs, like, or like, something like this, like, what?
Yeah,
I'm passionate about 3D printing. It's like, oh,
right.
God, all right. Are you a 3D printer? No, I'm actually an accountant, but I want a 3D. And then that, it could build. So I usually say I do a lot, or I do a lot of bit of everything. That's usually my reply.
Wow, that's a good thing to say. It kind of gets you out of trouble, right? If you're at a party and someone latches on something that's kind of boring, you're like, I don't want to talk about that aspect of my life, but I can say things I want to underscore. So when I met you through the hashtag show, that thing, let's talk about this first. Digital network platform. What is your relationship there? Because I feel like you're like a producer, creative brand manager, host. This is from the outside looking in. What exactly is your role with the hashtag show? I worked with them before. If you guys follow me on Flobo.com, I have some interviews posted there.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for just lending your amazing talent to that hashtag show, bro. I really appreciate that. Check it out, man. But I'm gonna first take that clip of you calling me the creative director, and I'm gonna take that, and then on my next negotiation, I'm going to be like, hey, look, this is what people see me as, and this is what I represent. So therefore, let's have a conversation about money. I'm a producer there. I'm a host there, and really just a contributor in any way possible. I row, which is, well, actually, how I got in is from Junior. I actually used to be Junior supervisor at Starbucks, and he had that hashtag show a long time ago, and and I was like, it's like, man, he's talking about wrestling, and I was like, man, like, he's like, you don't know nothing about wrestling. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is what I do. This is what I work for. It saved my life, as a lot of people. Like, wrestling is, my love. Right. And he's like, no, you don't. Nah. So he finally calls my bluff and invites me down to substitute for a guy on a show with Jay Pingle. And Jay Pingle and Johnny Dope Kicks. And it was like brothers reunited. Mind you, Pingle's only been in town for he just moved to LA. Has only been there for 2 weeks. Wow. And I mean, Parker has been, is from Detroit, but he's been here. But it was just like 3 brothers, and we just melded together. And right after, and I was just a substitute. And right after, they're like, oh yeah, we have to have the 2 of them were like, we have to have you on. And then I met the owner, Ro. And Ro is the guy that's really like my big brother. He's really that looked out for me. And he was just like, man, like, you have a mind, you're creative, let's try to cultivate that. I would love to have you here. And that's how the relationship formed,
So sometimes creatives have this thing where we have a little bit of a knowledge, we have that gift, and someone goes, "Yo, you got it," and then we go, "No, not me, man. We don't." That kind of like that shyness, especially creators of color, female creatives,
Yeah.
immigrant creators. What has been your experience with that? Coming to grips with understanding and harnessing your own skill, your own talent, your own kind of swag, if you will.
I always looked at the term of better than the next man. I always looked at it as I'm no better than the next man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally no better than the next man, but I'm the best whenever I'm actively doing something. Like I've always had this like weird, I don't know if it's because I was like the smaller kid maybe growing up, and like I played basketball. Like, so basketball is like the first thing, and I credit everything to basketball then to music, because it taught me one team, taught me how to play with a team. It taught me, I was always the captain. Excuse me. I was always the captain, and I was the point guard. Right. So it taught me about control. It taught me about looking to set other people up. But then it taught me that you have to have this undying confidence that you're better than that next man every single day. And but at the end of the day, you're no better than, you know, the 13th man on your team, right? Like,
Right.
So it was just this weird thing. That's how I always thought. So when it came to like any opportunity, especially when it came to music, and you know, you talk about it, but when it came to music, it was a thing of like you know, oh yeah, like no, I'm no better. Like, no, that person's great. Like, that person is amazing. Yeah, he's great. Oh, so you don't think you're great? No, I think I'm the shit. Excuse my French. That, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, you know, I think I'm that guy. Now, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna take away from this person. Like, I could prop them up. It's just like, right, we could. This is gonna come up a lot, by the way. Everything in life is pro wrestling.
Okay.
I could prop that man up as high as possible, and all that, a great promo. A heel is going to talk about how that baby face is the most incredible, strong. They overcome, they fight, but they're still trash, and they're still going to get their ass beat on Sunday
If they're
night.
not Becky Lynch, she just buries them. But that's another time.
If they're not, even Becky, even Becky though, Becky's so smart because she does it she makes the other person cool. Like, she gives them little names like Esther to either make people be like, oh, okay, Esther, or don't call her that. You know, like, or, you know, ban the hair, ban the whip, you know, like that. She makes cool things where people could either attach to that cool thing and like feel away about that other person, or they could be like, Becky, why do you keep disrespecting this person? So great.
It's funny because like, yeah, and not to do a plug here, but graduation day, my memoir on the back, I literally say everything I learned in life I learned from pro wrestling. It's absolutely true. But since we're talking about wrestling, here's a question I have in my notes, and that is, quote, "What is your unhealthy obsession with Sasha Banks about?" End quote.
I mean, do you think that a good chicken breast with steamed vegetables is unhealthy?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. So you think what you're telling me? You think that substance? What you think that substance? You think that the thing where your body is gonna actually create muscle and cut the fat and actually have you performing at your highest caliber throughout the day? You think that's not unhealthy, correct?
You calling Sasha Banks chicken? What is going on?
I'm calling Sasha Banks the lean meal that you're gonna intake that's gonna speed up your you're laughing. No, but for real, the boss, the blueprint, the standard, the GOAT, the queen of the cell, the DDT Mandalorian, Sasha Banks. And this is why. 2015, Barclay, takeover.
She wrestled herself, apparently.
I'm sorry?
She wrestled herself, apparently.
No. I would tell you this. I've watched a lot of professional wrestling, and I watched a lot of we all watched how women came up, and during the time it was only a couple of wrestlers that really made me feel like the little things you're doing in between the moves, like everything with the tent. And I know that's in the wrestling circle that's thrown around a lot, like Randy Orton does everything with the tent. can't think of any name, but even Edge, I know you don't really care for Edge, but even Edge does these things. Seth Rollins is really amazing at doing these little things. Roman Reigns, like we can name these big names, but that's because of the little things. And it was that match. I was a fan of Sasha, but I really wasn't, because that whole Ratchet thing really rubbed me the wrong way, right? And I was like, why are they calling this black girl Ratchet in this like little 50 crowd arena? And then why are we allowing this? Why are we being okay with this? So, but that's what really got me turning her, right? Like, got me looking at her, and then got me looking at the way she was selling and the way that she was making each and every person bigger, again, propping them up than what they actually are. So then we fast forward to 2015 in Barclay at TakeOver Brooklyn, a match where the story couldn't have been any more perfect for Bayley to win. And when Bayley, when they announced those names, Bayley was getting booed at the top of that match. And Sasha played the heel so perfectly, to where the selling of every single comeback and like cutoff that Bayley did was just, it was second to, like, I had chills. I get chills talking about it, because I remember just watching, like, why can't, there's a handful of men wrestlers across all platforms right now. Finn Balor was one of them. Kevin Owens was one of them. I mean, we could talk about top John Cena, but this was like, you know, Shinsuke Nakamura was one of them. AJ Styles was one of them. But the bigger landscape, it wasn't a lot. Everybody just wanted to get their shit in. Right. So when you see this woman, this black woman, make Bayley played, of course, the perfect baby face, but she wouldn't have had that canvas to play, because that's one thing we could go through the thread. Sasha's gonna play. She said it in a promo in the thing. You don't make kids cry. Sasha Banks does. She was not afraid to be that person on camera. And the more I start researching and learning about her, the more that she's completely opposite from that. Right? Like, people think like she's this and this and that. She's not that. Like, I had the privilege to meet her, and she's just the complete opposite. And everybody says that, and that, so like, she's really just loves what she does. She's passionate about what she does. Same way I felt about when Ronda Rousey came out at the end of the first Women's Royal Rumble. Needless to how it just killed everything else, but the passion that you've seen in her face, it really, like, I remember just smiling next to Pingo. I'm like, man, look at that. Like, when passion reads like that, it's second to none. So that's my obsession. I'm obsessed with somebody that is passionate, somebody that is inspirational, somebody that is damn good at their job, and somebody that is going to make the next person standing next to them, her body or not, look like a effing star. And we've seen it in every single match she's been in. She makes them look bigger than her.
I will say that of the four horsewomen, Sasha is the best seller, but I just love the fact you get so passionate about Sasha Banks.
The Boston Blueprint, the standard to go, the queen of the sale. What am I supposed to do? The DDT Mandalorian, the ESPY award winning, the soon to be Kids Choice Awards winning. I don't vote, guys. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
The kids vote. Let's talk about you, man, making big moves happen. What's cool about one of the many projects that you do is that they don't feel the same. They feel different. They're well made. There's a third line, but they do feel a little bit different. In a Session is something that you can now see on the Revolt TV Network. Walk me through that concept completion. How's that going? How was the call up? What was going on with that?
It's a call up. Vince called me.
You're going to get paid.
Hey, pal. In a Session is my love letter to music, even though it's more than a music show. I said basketball was the first thing that was like my first teacher, but music really taught me the things about passion, the things about work ethic, the things about not letting no's get the best of you, and, you know, fighting your own anxieties and depressions. So when I looked at, you know, I stopped doing, my group stopped doing music, stopped creating music. I always felt
Hip-hop,
I wanted
by the way?
hip hop. Yes. I wanted to leave, you know, you always want to leave it better than you are, or leave it better than when you came. right? You always want to leave something for the future. I wanted to leave a stake in the grass or in the sand or on the cement, wherever you want to stake your claim at in the meats, wherever you want to put the stake at, Buffy.
What,
I don't
brother?
care. No, but I did. And so I was having, I was in studios, all around the city, all around the world. And I would always have amazing conversations with amazing artists. Like, I mean, but these artists, you know, you may see them as one way, but we're having conversations about, like, you know, politics, about green thumbs, about any and everything you could imagine. I was like, man, if people seen you like this, this is the people, this is the person that they will be attached to, not this facade. Because again, everything is more pro wrestling than pro wrestling. And everything's a facade, everything's a character. And when especially in music, because you have to be larger than life for people to want to attach and aspire themselves to, and all those things. So, but I was having conversations with the real person. And so I always kind of kept that in the back of my head. And then at the end of 2019, or in the summer rather, 2019, or spring, spring of 2019, I went to Italy to direct a short film with my business partner. And wow, actually, the year before that, I went to Cannes Film Festival because I worked on a film in 2018 in Italy. I mean, in London. So that film ended up getting into Cannes Film Festival. And I brought my business partner with me, and I was like, hey, I kind of been messing around with this idea, like interview show inside a studio. And she was like, oh, all right, whatever, cool. Like, she just kind of blew it off, whatever. So then we ended up going to Italy to direct. I directed this film that she wrote in Italy, and we shot it in Italy. That's a whole nother story. And I kind of had the whole idea, like, it was the day before we went, we had picture was up, or really the night before, like 2:00 in the morning. And I was like, I think I want to call it In a Session. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, like In a Session with these creators from all walks of life. And I wanted to be like Rap City meets David Letterman meets Sway. Like I wanted to be culture, but I wanted to push the culture, and I wanted to push the needle, and I wanted to be about multi-hyphenates, and I wanted to be a discovery show. And again, she's like, yeah, all right, cool. All right, we gotta be here in the morning, right? Like, go to sleep. And I'm like, all right. Right. So we ended up doing a film. I ended up going to Japan shortly after that. And the whole time I was in Japan, I was just like, imagine being, because I'm in Japan, I'm on Shibuya Square, like I'm discovering all these things. But imagine a Japanese person coming to America, or just seeing a show and discovering somebody that's just hot on the block. Right, like that's just this dude, that's because we all know that we all know that basketball player that's good enough to play anywhere, but is only can't get out of the block, right. We all know that. Yeah, so I was like, man, but what if I could shine a light on them? And so I got back, and we put the plans into motion. I was like, look, I got back in like August, and I was like, all right, we're shooting this. And that Thanksgiving 2019, we shot 4 or 5 episodes that ended up only using like 2, because we're really figuring it out. And like my directing, how I wanted it to look, all these things. And man, that just kicked off everything. And then, of course, we hit 2020, and we're like, because we did the sizzle. And so we're like, yeah, we're going to take the sizzle, and we're going to go around and shop it around. And, somebody's going to buy it because this is great. And pandemic hit. And then I was mad, and I was like, we're still shooting this. So we ended up shooting during the pandemic, and Revolt, the COO, happened to just be keeping an eye on me for all the things from music, from films, I was part of an improv team. I was doing improv. I am actively acting, and was actively acting, doing all these things. And he was just kind of keeping eyes on me. And he was just like, hey man, been watching you. I've been seeing you. I want to put you in touch with this is before in a session we even had, and like he knew what we had.
Like, did he know? Did you know he was observing you, or he just came out the blue one day and was like,
I didn't know he was observing me.
Okay,
I did not. I did not. And he was like, you know, I want to put you in touch with. I want to put you in touch with the head of acquisition. Or no, he said, I want to put you in touch with like this guy named Travis. So I was like, all right. So he sends an email at midnight with the head of acquisitions. And it's like, hey, I've been following these guys. They've been doing great, blah, blah, blah. I want you to meet with them. So mind you, I'm not knowing he is the COO of Revolt. I left that part out. I just thought he was like an accountant or something. Like, you know, so I'm like, cool, man, whatever. Like, you know, great. So when I ended up meeting with Travis or I emailed him, you know, you emailed him. He's like, yeah, just send over some stuff and we could meet on Monday. And so I sent him a nice little detail. You know, when you send emails, you send hyperlinks, you know, you send quick things and little blurbs and stuff. So we sent this beautiful email to him and he just was like, oh, thanks. I'll review it later. See you Monday. So we're just like,
well,
whatever. Right.
Yeah.
And Monday, say the meeting's at like 12 o'clock and he hits us. We get it. He's in like at 11:58. So I'm like, what is like? This is awkward because that's never in LA, right?
Right.
Full transparency. I was in here 3 minutes late. So
it's all good.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, this is awkward. So the first thing he says when we're like, hey, you know, nice to meet you. He's like, hey, look, first of all, I am so sorry with that dry email that I sent you. We usually just don't get this much quality stuff from people. So I didn't know what I was getting.
Yeah.
So before we get into everything else, where the hell have you been and what the hell have you been doing?
Dang. That's a little story.
That's how it started. That's how the relationship actually started in the middle, you know, of 2020. And we just developed it since. And now here we are. We did 2 episodes for him and 2 seasons for him and talks of a third already. And yeah, the second season will be out in June. So first season's out now. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's been a wild ride.
What's that like though? When someone goes, hey, I got a TV show, you're like, oh, is it on YouTube? Like, no, it's actually on a real network, Revolt. I mean, does it come with a certain kind of feeling? Does it feel different? Or is it kind of like, no, man, I just create and it doesn't matter what platforms they are on, bro?
You know, it's a little bit of both. It didn't hit me until I went to my mom's house and I was helping her set up her Roku TV, and you know, she wanted all the apps. I had to subscribe to every single. I mean, BT Plus, All Black, Paramount Plus, like every app I just had to subscribe to. So I was like, oh, let me give you the Revolt app, you know, so you could just watch it here whenever you want. And so I downloaded and I opened it up and we're on the front page, like the first thing. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then my mom was like, oh my God, look, you know, does the whole like thing. And I'm like, and it's the first time it hits because before then it's just like, yeah, all right, whatever. You know, it's the little guy, the big guy thing is like, you know, you're not supporting me enough, or you're not like, we should be doing this. And, you know, it's always that relationship. And that just hit. I'm like, wow, like this is what this, if anything goes awry, it's for this. Now I'm all about just putting it on YouTube. What did piss me off though, because we did start on YouTube, what did piss me off, what people will be like, oh yeah, you got a little podcast, right?
Oh, okay.
And I would be like, I'm sorry, we have a whole 3 film camera setup, lighting team, sound, you know, it's not just we have a podcast version, but this is a show. Like,
yeah.
This is a thing. So yeah. So that will pit, boy. My partner used to hate it because like we'll be somewhere and they'd be like, oh yeah, you guys got that little podcast, and she'll just look at me and I just be like, you know, I do the Bane twitch. Like vein, like a vein just starts popping out like Bane on the side of my neck.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah, I hear you. And
yeah, go
so
ahead.
far, I mean, any wins, any fans come across? I'm like, yo, man, I didn't know what this was, but I enjoyed it. What are people saying when they check out an episode in a session?
I think a lot of people, it's weird. Personally, people that know me, at least with this thing, I've been getting a lot of like, man, you've always worked so hard. I'm happy to see you finally get a win. And I take that as like a backhanded compliment.
You just called me the Clippers? Is that what you did? You were taking L's for
Exactly.
years. You finally got a dub.
I'm
What?
like, wait a minute. Like, first of all, I haven't heard from you in 15 years. You've been watching all the stuff I'm doing, but like, you know, I get a little vote or die, a little shiny suit man money behind me. I get a producer all in my video. You know, that's now it's, you know, I'm finally happy you got a win. That's one side. But then I understand, you know, I get it that because I have not worked on anything. You know, I don't know what it is not to have something, multiple things go on multiple times. So a lot of people just, they don't really know what to take. They're like, oh, Neesin's always doing something.
Right.
So when they finally do watch it, it's like, oh, yeah, like this is actually better than I thought. Or, oh, you got Amber Riley on there? Oh, you got Rick Jane was Beyonce's trumpet player? And it's like, I mean, I get it. And I appreciate the, you know, I guess the enthusiasm and all, but
Right,
like,
right. I love this podcast. I said it's a show.
let me flip this table real quick.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, you're not just the host of it. You do have experience in producing, obviously, the movies that you've written and the music side too. You had produced music videos across the music spectrum, most notably with Abstract Mindset. Saw them live at Neff After Dark, which is a show you produce and co-host as well. Walk me through all of that, man. You are just going all different directions. Music is the bridge, it seems. Is that accurate?
That is correct. Music, I don't say that lightly. I owe my life to music. Yeah. I mean, where do I start? Music videos, visuals. I've always, so even my group, shout out YRF. All of our music videos, I pretty much co-directed. Like my favorite music video is a music video called "Oh Girl," which is basically like a dream state, and it literally like it was sitting down with the director and like, what idea do you have? And I'm like, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? And then like watching it happen, you know? So that was really great. And I had the opportunity, and I was always against directing music videos. I just felt like the world that they're in now and just where people go with it, I grew up in the MTV era. I grew up in 106 in Park, TRL, where like music videos. I mean, you have Dave Myers shooting like $1 million music videos, and they're telling stories and epic shots and all these things. So I was really inspired by that. And I just felt like if I can't do that, I mean, Belly was a motion picture music video, guys. Like, so if I can't do something like that, I don't want to do it. And I was writing, directing film stuff. And G is one of my mentors. He kind of put his arm around me way back when I produced this album. And it was right before he went to negotiations, which the album ended up turning into the DJ Charisma mixtape. And he just got back from Hawaii with Kanye after My Dark Fantasy. Oh. And somebody linked us together. He came to the studio, first time meeting him, and I played him the whole thing, and I'm going crazy in there. And he just like stopped, and he was like, yo, you remind me so much of homie. Like, and I'm just like, what? And he was like, yo, you remind me of Ye so much. Like, he was like, you're more than a rapper. Like, you got it, like, you know, and you need to trust that. And I'm just like, nah, but I'm trying to get these bars off, and I'm trying to but
get your praise, baby.
Right. But I seen everything cinematically early on. Like, I remember I couldn't write. I used to tell, like, I can't write a song if I can't see the visual, right? So fast forward to Abstract Mind State, when he got the Ye, you know, they got the Ye deal, like, finally. I mean, we all seen the Jesus documentary on Netflix. Shout out Cootie. You know, he was there from the jump, and then Ye basically was like, yo, you know, I want to put an album out on this group that inspired me when I was young, and that's Abstract Mind State. When that happened, G invited me to the studio with Don C and a couple other, like, the Chicago boys, and he's playing me the record. And I'm just like, mind you, and I have to say this part. I used to go over G's house, and G is having, like, he's getting his, like, platinum plaques, like, lined on the wall. G's been a part. He got Big Sean his first single, At Last. Like, G was the A&R for that. Like, G was like a heavy mainstay. So he has all these plaques, and I used to go over there just feeling super inspired, but also feeling like I'm not doing enough. Right. And then he started playing me Kanye chopped up beats. Like, these are chopped Kanye joint. This is Wyoming sessions Kanye. This is 7 albums. This is this Kanye. So I'm like, listen, I'm like, dog, like, if I could just get one, if I could just steal his hard drive, and I could just make some freestyles off this joint, right? How can I convince him just to, like, let me, like, to A&R album on me? Like, how can I do this? And he was like, no, like, I'm about to put out an album. And I'm like, what? I was like, okay, cool. So fast forward, he playing me the album that I've heard from every step since then. And I'm like, man, this is so dope. Like, I see this, like, this. And I'm talking, me and Don C going back. I'm like, yo, what if I did? Like, I want to double see this. And I'm just in my element, like, just in my joint. And he stops it, and he's like, yo, I want you to direct the music video. Oh. And I'm like, all right, man, cool. Like, for what song? So Abstract Mind State has a song on the last track of the album called the Brenda Song, and it's featuring Kanye West, and it's a Beatles sample, and it's a big, like, I love when that song came on. I was like, oh, I want this. Oh, this is, you know, like, I just started going. I was like, yo, I see it like this. Like, because if you're ever blessed enough to go to Sunday service, I was like, yo, it should be like this and this. Like, I'm, like, pulling ideas. And so that was supposed to be the first single. And so he was like, I want you to direct the video. I'm like, what? I get to direct a Kanye West song with Kanye West on it. And, like, I get to have this. I'm talking, it was going to be cranes. It was going to be, like, epic, right? I did a whole treatment for it. Kanye, the whole, like, you know, divorce thing happened. And he's like, I got word, like, yo, Kanye doesn't want to come outside. We can't, we gotta flip the singles. And then I was like, wait, flip the singles? What do you mean flip the singles? He was like, well, yeah, I want you to do all 3, and then we're gonna flip, but now we have to flip the order of what singles come out and what songs are gonna be singles. So now I'm like, I want to do all I don't want to do music videos. First of all, I was, like, excited about Kanye, but if I'm gonna do it, you know, I got to do all 3. I was like, well, okay, well, if I do all 3, they're gonna be connected. Like, I can't just do a normal music video. So that's why the first one is the Guidance, which they hop out like animated characters, and they're, you know, like in a sketchbook. And then the second one is Visions, to where they have these special glasses where they're able to read people's stats and show, like, you know, what they, you know, if you came with a warning sign sort of thing. And then the last one is it's the pinnacle, it's the climax. If you follow the Guidance and you take heed to your visions, you're gonna reach the mountaintop. That's, you know, that's life, right? You Guidance, visions, mountaintop, success. And so that's I Feel Good. And so that's the simpler one, because that's just this is the full house, but hanging with the homies, still eating off paper plates, but we're on the mountaintop. Like, we're literally at the top of the hills with a private chef eating out of paper plates, man. Like, this is the life with the homies. So that's like the little connection that I did. And that's, if I wanted to direct something, I wanted to produce music videos, it had to interconnect and it had to like add elements that you've never seen before in music videos.
Yeah. What does YRF mean, by the way?
It means young, rich, and fly. So it's a state of mind, and I love when we thought of the name, we wanted something that meant material, because if it's one thing about us, we could definitely dress. Not gonna you know, not gonna share, but that we love to dress, and so people automatically think, you know, materialistic, but young meaning, you know, it doesn't matter what age you are. Rich is not about material things, about being rich in love, rich in family, rich in health and wealth, and that's your real wealth. And then fly, it means I could literally walk in with a paper towel around my waist and still be considered the flyest man in the room, because it's a state of mind. It is not about what you wear. What clothes don't wear you, you wear the clothes. And so that's what we wanted to go with. And it really worked, because people was like, yeah, I'm rich and fly. And it was like, yeah, man, you are. It's deeper than that. But yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Cool, man. Cool, man.
Fair enough, man. So you got so many things happening. I'm not sure if you use paper plates, if you use the irons and fire, what metaphor you want to use. How do you keep everything organized? That you don't go crazy day to day?
Yeah, I'm crazy.
You gotta have an answer. I'm crazy. Okay, that's an answer. That's an answer.
I'm crazy. Yeah, I don't think there's no such thing as not going crazy. I think I'm definitely I definitely go crazy. I definitely have my ebbs and flows of like, you know, I'm not doing, crazy as it sounds, I'm not doing enough, or man, I'm taking on too much and I'm not passionate about any of these things, but I have to do them. Like it's never a perfect, you know, level of things, right? But I think how I tend to balance it or try to level it out is I do have things like professional wrestling where, look, man, yes, sometimes it does feel like a job where I have to watch every single thing to have some sort of opinion on it. But at times where I could literally, like 2K to WWE 2K22 came out, I'm literally going at everybody, including yourself and all of your sickle fans over there at Spotify's.
Why are you doing that? Challenge of fighting game bowls or whatever.
Yeah, but I think I was telling Justin at Wrestling Classic the other day, because he was like, man, like, you know, I was like, look, it's enough negativity in professional wrestling and on Twitter, you know, and why not just have fun in wrestling games? The men from Here Comes the Pain, No Mercy, you know, WrestleMania, those were the times you really talk crap to your friend. Like you could talk crap and play for hours and just laugh and just like play and just go back and forth. And so I really was like, yo, when this game comes out, that was my goal. I was like, I want to go at everybody and just to laugh, like literally just to say the most crazy, like just have people laughing and bring people together, man. Like, because it's too much negativity. And so that's really been my outlet. Like little stuff like that keeps me balanced. It's like, okay, I'm gonna play for a couple hours. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna talk crap to Flobo, to Brian H. Please pronounce the H Waters. To Jack being a turncoat, to Pingo just like, hey man, I got your back. I'm here for whatever, but you may want to stop talking. Yeah. Right, Pingo, he's like, it's fun, man. Like, you know, and so I try to search for those things that make me feel like that kid again. That's, you know, seeing Spider-Man fucking 3 times when it's, you know, I'm like, yo, just the being inspired by all these things, and, you know, got Batman things behind me, watching the Boston Blueprint, the Standard, the GOAT, the Queen of the Cell, the DDT Mandalorian, the ESPY award winning, the soon to be Kids Choice Awards winning Sasha Banks do her thing, man, to be bigger than a title. And I understand. I listen to the podcast. You shouldn't say everybody doesn't need the title. I get it. But God damn it, The Rock didn't win the title that much. Austin didn't win the title that much.
Also true.
So yeah, I mean, all that to say, look, I work out every day at 5 a.m. every single day. That clears my mind. Yeah, Flobo, come with me. Work out.
I can get up at 5, but I ain't get out of bed. That's as far as I go. I
I am
text
up
you.
at
You can do it, bro.
I'm up at 4:30, man. I'm up at 4:30. I'm out the house at 5. You know, I'm doing all the little things in my routine to make sure I stay grounded because I have been in darker places. I have been, you know, to the darkest. I have been, you know, to the highest tops. I've been all those places that people want to talk about and have the conversations of. I just found what works for me is a couple of things. Your anchor, making sure I work out, making sure that I am having times to watch professional wrestling, and making sure that I'm able to laugh. Like, I'm always trying to laugh, bro.
I
Like,
got
that's
you,
it.
man. I respect the hell out of that. In fact, I
Yeah.
think we first time we worked together was at the Neff place, right? I think
Yeah, at the headquarters.
yeah, at the HQ. My bad.
Yeah.
But it was an incident. Like, okay, you like wrestling, I like wrestling. Granted, you were way too fly for the room, bro. Chalk line jacket, living life, 125%. It was great. But it was
I
great.
can't remember
Like,
what I had on. I'm like, what the hell, man?
it was just like, man, it's like, okay, I get it. Like you live. It's not. You're not a gimmick, but you're living the lifestyle, which is also important. Being authentic in what you do.
Yes.
So that leads into my final question. You know, you do a lot. We talked about that. You are doing a lot, and you keep yourself grounded. You got many things in the fire, it's been in place. People love you. People know you. You're apparently going to challenge every wrestling host on the planet to video games. But if I had to ask you, what do you think Neeson's legacy is going to be when it's all said and done?
Definitely not people loving me. Tomato.
Exactly. Heel turn. You people. Yeah.
And I say that, you know, have truthfully, because I feel anyone that does something with passion and that is the driving factor, and they just want it to be great. Because my goal when I was in the 10th grade, I looked at my former rapping partner. We were in class and I looked at him in history class. I said, I want to be in this. And he said, what? And I pointed to the history book. And he was like, and I was like, I want us to be in here, because we were reading about all these people that was like 100, 200 years ago. And I'm like, I want people to look at me and know that I did something to inspire them. Because people are inspiring me. I want to make sure I am inspiring, you know, people I'm not even seeing and touching. And I know I do see that. My niece, she just got accepted to NYU. She's going to film school. And there was a thing when she came to me at 9 and was like, I want to do this. And we put her on a path to do this. Like, literally, like, if you want to do this, you have to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And she did every single thing to be able to get accepted into the top film school. And it was like, and she hit me. It was like, you are my biggest inspiration. Like, I seen it in you, and I wanted to follow in your footsteps. So if that's my legacy, I am completely okay with that. If it's just that one person, because that woman is going to change the way we all consume any form of media possible. And I know that I had a little inkling in that footstep, but I also want to make sure that everything I touch and everything I create and everything I do, it is done to the highest quality and is done to the best of its ability. I don't want anything done like half-ass, like nothing. Everything is done like it's the last thing and it's the first thing. So that'll be my legacy.
Well, look at that, man. Neesin, thanks so much for being on the show, man.
No problem. No, we're not gonna stop. But before we start signing off, I just want to finish, because every platform I get, I gotta do this. Tell Tall Boy SRS. Tell Ryan Satin Sheets. You can even tell Renee Young Parquette Goodman. You can tell who else? You can tell Raja, the 3-letter bandit. You can tell Raja, hop on the sticks. Yeah, you can tell them, and including your Mac Mania sickle brethrens over there. You could tell BH Waters. You could tell Evan Mack. You can tell I don't even know who else is on, because I mean, yeah, you may have one on-screen producer, but I'm sure there's other producers on there. Tell them to ante up too. You could tell Kaz. You could tell Shoemaker. You could tell Peter effing Rosenberg, the forever 24/7 champion. You could tell the agent Dipperstein, which is Sean's boy. We all know Sean, and that's Sean's boy. And yeah, you could tell him too. And You could tell the other black man that's a part of the whole Spotify family. You can no, well, not him. I was talking about
Is that guy Greg?
Stats guy. You could tell the statless one himself. The statless one himself. Grab a pair of sticks. I don't care if it's Xbox, PS, Switch, Game Boy, Sega Saturn. I don't care what type of sticks you have. You're gonna get all the work that is I have clocked in. I have been clocked in. I am going overtime. My hard hat is on. I got my steel toe boots on, and I'm ready to serve every single one of your huckleberry dad joke giving, pun serving, water drinking,
I hate puns,
mayor having,
hey.
Serve all y'all with the L's any day of the week, brother. Any day. I don't care if I got Turncoat Jack in my corner or if I got my brother from another mother, Triple JP. The wins are coming this way, brother. That's all.
Cutting promos at the end of the show. WWE 2K tournament, apparently, with all the wrestling casters ever.
Tournament. Line them up. Line them up.
If someone send you hate mail and say you're wrong, how to go about doing that on the internet, man? How they go about sending you hate mail?
They can look. You could please send me all your love mail, because love is just
not anymore.
Another form of love. Hate is another form of love, baby.
Okay.
Send me all the love mail to on IG at Stay Fly Life, even on Twitter at Stay Fly Life. I have that as well, which I really need to start using as well. So just Stay Fly Life, or if you really want to email me, look, I have an email. You can email me. I'm putting it out right here, right now. It is NJW at Intercession. And email me if you have any questions. If I can help in any way, I am always here for that. I love helping people, man, any way possible. Like, because I had to figure out this way, and if I can make it just a little bit easier from somebody else, that's what I'm here for.
NJW at intercession.com.
NJW at stayflyent.com. I don't know what I said first, but
you said Intercession, but it's all good, baby.
It's a lot of things, guys.
They will just Google you, because if you're on Revolt, you're going to be a star sooner or later. But I want you back on a future episode of New Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for creatives. I got to go and train this 2K2 game because I get called out in my own show. We'll see you next time.